Welcome to a Muzzled Chat. Hope everyone's having a lovely weekend. I actually have a guest from Canada on today. Her name's Roxanne, and she's just coming on to share her story, some of her life battles. She is a Lyme warrior amongst just kind of facing a lot of the battles life tends to throw at us, but she attributes a lot of breakthrough with a product I'm personally not that familiarized with. So I'm excited to get some of the details from her and just hopefully lead to something that could benefit me, but more importantly, a lot of us. So with that being said, Roxanne, welcome to a Muzzled Chat. How are you today?
I'm fabulous. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good. Thank you. It always feels so good and so blessed to come out of like the wilderness, right? Like the struggle. And when the quality of life just starts coming back, I mean, man, it is worth fighting for your health.
Oh, yes, it sure is. Every ounce of it, everything that you put into it, put it all you got into it. And life is much better when you're not living in chronic pain and illness all the time. It is so much sweeter.
Yeah, I mean, we know how debilitating Lyme disease is and how freaking challenging it has become to overcome due to uneducated in the medical field, like public knowledge. We often, like we were just talking pre-interview, like often even from family and friends and those around us, make it out to be like ourselves to be the issue. And I mean, I suppose to an extent I can understand that when we don't understand what these individuals are facing. And there's nothing woo woo about it. Like there's a legit spirochete fibrous substance thing that infiltrates the body with all these different co-infections, with all these horrific like co-infections that just wreak havoc on the mind, the body. I mean, pretty much every aspect of life.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah.
So with that, I mean, tell us about yourself and like you can start where you want, like your journey, like where where do you suppose, I don't know if you had encounters with ticks or mosquitoes or inoculations or something that might have led to this, and a bit about how you honed in on it, and yeah, everything we want to know it all, Roxanne.
I will try to give it all to you. And I
Okay.
do believe in full disclosure, so I'll try to not bore you, but try to give you as much as I can as
Okay.
well. So I consider myself extremely, extremely lucky because I
Mm.
found my tick, even though it totally creeps me out and I hate the whole thought of it. And even just, I couldn't even look at it actually
Mm.
when we found it. It was just in the back of my head. I guess when we wear ponytails a lot as girls or as women, they just know the right spots to go to, right, to get hidden and stuff. So I have actually
Wow.
no idea how long it was there, but I did find it and it was engorged and stuff. So I didn't send it out for testing or keeping it. I should have.
Right.
I've grown up in Manitoba, so we've grown up with ticks and like it's just a daily part of summer or life here, right? So you go out, you check yourself as you come in, and then hopefully you find them and everything's all good. So we found the tick, disposed of it, and then it was like about 3 days later where I started feeling just off. Not
Mm.
like super crazy or anything, it off, like not right. So, like swollen lymph nodes, like the fever, the aches, the headaches, and stuff like that. So then I went to seek medical attention. And like I said, our protocol here in Manitoba, when Lyme is considered, they don't typically start with testing or anything like that. They just, and especially if it's like a recent infection, they'll just go ahead and do the protocol right away, which is to do the 2 weeks of doxycycline.
Like,
Or
yeah,
yeah, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but anyways, so you do 2 weeks of that, and then you're considered healed for life and all is well, right?
right.
Um, so we all know that's a lie.
Mhm.
But I do know some people who have undergone the protocol and the treatment and the doxy and have, been okay or
It's tip.
relatively
Mhm.
okay, right?
It's typically when someone gets in early enough, in this disease or bioweapon, whatever you want to identify it as, is still within the bloodstream. It seems that the pharmaceutical is strong enough to kind of just kill it off when it's within the bloodstream. But once it starts burrowing into tissue and other places of the body, these antibiotics don't really have the impact they need to eradicate it.
Oh, agree. But then when you think about it, I was within 3 days of finding the tick. Like I should have been one of those people where this
How
works,
quick
you know?
were you on the actual antibiotic doxycycline?
Oh, like the 3 days. I went into the
Wow.
ER. I
And
got
it was
my
just
meds.
two
I got my
weeks.
prescription for antibiotics. I filled them right away. I started those things like right away. Yeah, I
Wow.
didn't wait. So yeah, so I should be, it should have worked for me. It
Wow.
should have been okay. Excuse me. But then it was during the course of that first round of antibiotics where I was like getting some crazy, crazy pains in my hands and stuff, like lightning bolts. It was
Mm,
just like it would stop me in my tracks. Like I would be walking and I would have to stop because of the pain. It was just such a weird sensation too. I know that's a lot of the things with Lyme as well too. A lot of our symptoms just sound kind of strange to a lot of people, right? A lot of them are neurological and they just
yes.
don't- they just set, they're just strange, right? But that was definitely one like it stopped me in my tracks. I was like, this is kind of weird, right?
Mm,
But like I said before too, I am a healthcare professional, or I was for 15 years. So I did what I was told. I finished the course, and it was not better.
mm,
The shooting pain wasn't constant, like it stopped when I took the antibiotics, but I just still felt super off. And then my left-sided pain started. So that's like this is like the beginning of my neurological symptoms.
mm.
So I like the left side of my body was completely numb and tingly. And it was just, you know, that pins and needles, like when your foot falls asleep, but it was like
Yeah.
that, but my whole entire left side of my body, and it was so weird. So I had just moved to Manitoba from a different province in Canada, from Alberta. So I didn't have a family doctor yet. So, and we live rurally. So anyways, I went to another town over and found a doctor to take me on. I explained finding the ticks, starting the antibiotics, the shooting pain in my hands, and then the left-sided numbness and tingly that was like starting and stuff, and like just how weird it was. And so she was like, "Oh, that does sound kind of strange, right?" So then she finally ordered my first Lyme test. And so then that's how it starts. So, this is like the start of it all, right? So then you wait a bit, you go back for your follow-up. No, sorry, didn't test positive. So you don't have Lyme. You were treated. You're now healed from Lyme forever.
Wow.
We will never consider Lyme for you again now at this point. At this point, now we're considering other diseases. And since a lot of the symptoms that I was getting and feeling, they look a lot and relate a lot to MS, right? So
Oh my God.
here, here's the start of my MS journey.
Wow.
So then I get a brain scan ordered and do the brain scan, wait for my follow up, get my follow up. Yeah, for sure. You've got plaques. It looks like you've got MS. Now, all of a sudden, don't know how that happens.
Right.
Um, and then, so then here you go. You get to go and wait for a neurological clinic to come help you and for the MS clinic to come help you, which both of those waiting times, when I got referred to them, were both 2.5 to 3 years
What?
for waiting to get in after, being told that, that you potentially have MS or you have MS. They're referring you to those clinics, right? So take that whichever way you want. Um, so I didn't like that answer. And like I said, I was in the healthcare field. So I was like, you know what? I made an appointment with one of my colleagues. So I went to go see him and he looked at my scans and he said, you know, if I was a betting man, I'd bet you have MS. So it's like the lack of bedside manner and just, like courtesy was mind blowing, especially from a colleague, a friend that you work with. And I had an aunt actually who had MS, and I watched her my whole life progressively get worse and worse and worse, from like walking to one cane to two canes to, a scooter to wheelchair full time to not being able to feed herself to finally passing away and having to fight to die. Like that poor lady, that poor woman's struggle was
Mm.
like it's a unimaginable life, right? And I had been exposed to that, so I knew what I was being diagnosed with and what my future outcome of life was going to be like. So that just set me off into a panic attack, like literally
Wow.
could not breathe. Um, but the one nice thing that my colleague had done for me was he referred me to another neurology clinic that would have been faster than the wait times that I had had before. So I was like, okay, that's helpful. That's something. At least you weren't very nice, but at least this is something, right? So,
Right.
um, so I go see this new neurological doctor and I tell him everything. He does like a physical assessment and he looks at my old scans and he's like, you know what? I'm not convinced that you have MS. And I was like, oh, thank you. Yes, I know I do not have MS. There's no way you go from being a healthy 38-year-old to finding a tick bite and supposedly getting treated to just now having, MS. Like, I just don't think that's how diseases change or how that
Right.
all works. So like, that's ridiculous. So he's like, well, I'm not convinced, but he's like, I know you're in healthcare too, and you're not convinced. And I know it's harder to convince us that, of things, right? So he's like, I'm going to order you a new brain scan and it'll be with contrast enhanced this time. And this will be the definitive, we'll rule this out, right? So I was like, that sounds great. Like, that's totally, then that'll get me back on track, to being able to, to get back onto the Lyme track so that I could finally start getting some help. Because being in the
Yes.
healthcare field, I thought I knew how to navigate the system. I thought
Yeah.
that, that I would be okay and that I could get, through all of this. But it's not. It's not that easy. It's a broken system, to
It's
say
so
it
broken.
politely. Yeah,
Yeah, the
to say.
medical industry as a whole has obviously it's been corrupt. It's been about the Benjamins, the dollar bills. It's a business more than it is a health care, actually fulfilling health and wellness.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's nice to
Bad.
have the opportunity to expose that so we could hopefully hone in and make the health and wellness side of things the priority, but there's a lot of restructuring and things that need to take place.
Yeah, lots. Lots of,
Lots.
yeah, it's gonna be a lot of work around here, but I think it's possible. I think we can definitely get there. I'm definitely more on the side of optimism than
Yes.
pessimism.
Well,
So
this
that's
is the
my
beginning,
future outlook.
Roxanne. this is where we start with the stories. I mean, like
Yeah,
we can connect those dots and properly acknowledge, wow, these things aren't operating as good as they can, and hopefully breathe light into people to seize the opportunities we have, not just for ourselves but our future generations and children, to ensure getting to the root of issues so we can up the resilience and quality of our lives as a whole. Like it's a beautiful opportunity, so we should be excited to seize that. But that's kind of the problem, and don't get me started, but I feel evil and whatever. Like more corporations, all about dollar bills from food and all these other things, have been deteriorating our resilience to where we can't even fathom onboarding the additional just weight, if you will, of the current pressures of life we experience. But so if everyone, that's where like conversations like this don't just benefit potentially those struggling with Lyme, it really can be applied to just anyone walking in today's world. So they
yeah,
could onboard and champion these things and acknowledge how important it is. Like it's just so crazy. Like I'm actually grateful for my disease in that walk now, because I believe it's just made this a priority while I'm here to be able to thoroughly enjoy the time I got. It's just health is freaking kind of everything, right?
it is. Once you don't have it, you really, really, really realize how important it really is and what a
Right.
difference it makes. Like yeah, it affects all facets of your life. So it's
Yeah.
definitely something that, yeah, it's important to prioritize, and and
Yes.
it's all about learning and different things and stuff, and just always being open to different options and possibilities of different things that are out there as well, right? So um
That
that's kind of
that
how I
is
feel like
key.
this water came to my life. It was just being open and following the flow of life and where it was leading me till,
I like that.
till where it got me to where I am, which was incredible, right?
We just can't have those blinders on in life and just
Mhm.
blindly entrust in everything around. I like that, to listen to uh, your intuition and just question things and stay optimistic and stay open and looking. Yeah,
Yeah,
and inevitably you will be led to some breakthroughs.
exactly. That's the way that it goes. The more open that you are to the possibilities, the more that they spring up, the more that you see them and you know that they're there. And that's actually like one of the jokes you can always make too, is that your inner voice, your intuition, it's too quiet. That's
Yeah.
why sometimes we don't pardon me, we don't hear it, right? It's sometimes a little bit the quieter voice in the back of our
Yeah.
heads that's like, oh, maybe you should do this, or maybe you should listen to this, or and it's so easy with, especially the fast-paced lives that we lead right now, right? Where we're just always go, 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 go from one thing to the next, and we're not really sitting and being present and just allowing the flow to happen,
Wow.
which is really
So
important.
this next spec scan, or not, was it a spec scan or brain scan?
No, MRI.
MRI. What was the outcome there?
Definitely it got MS was ruled out, which was great.
Wow.
But it was like a waiting process again too, right? So it's always like waiting in between appointments to tests to the follow-ups, and just getting the results. And at the whole time that is happening is your disease is progressing. You're getting
Right.
sicker and sicker, right? You're starting to feel more of it, like different things are happening. And I know for a lot of us Lyme warriors and just other people too, we end up having to do so much of our own research, right? We're
Yeah.
constantly, so it's like something else brings up and it's like, wow, I just gotta, like, I was at work and um I had to retrain myself to learn how to do lab.
Wow.
So It was actually like a really intense time when my disease was progressing because I was going back to work from a maternity leave. I had to learn how to do lab because I had left the province for a bit. So, and they had changed the system from being manual before to being all automated. So it was learning lab again with an automated online system, being in an abusive relationship,
Mm,
to like losing every little bit, a little bit of my health at every time, or every day was progressing and stuff. So it was a super intense ride, and that's what I've heard from a lot of Lyme literate docs too, is they say that a lot of us Lyme patients have a lot of stuff going on, stressors or
mm-hmm.
triggers that could be progressing the disease faster for us than maybe for other people and stuff, right? However, I come from the knowledge in life where I think pretty much all of us go through everything.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a crazy ride, this whole life and everything,
Yes.
right? To say that you're gonna go through it unscathed without any stressors or triggers, it's I think that's a little bit naive, like I don't think life is supposed to be this smooth ride that everybody makes it. It's supposed to have those bumps and those hurdles, but it's coming, it's going past them and overcoming them, that's the beauty of life, right? And then
Yes.
like listening to the flow to get us there, right? So like it's just, yeah, it's just a crazy process for everything, right? So
You're onto something there, because like with Lyme, it's interesting. It's almost like this freaking spiral. This disease knows that, hey, by attacking the immune system, by suppressing that, by putting this body, well, here we are, is what it is. It's not something ideally to do, but it must be done. Because the reality of this platform, Unmuzzled Chat, we are not going to conform and fall in line and be cowards to tyrannical platforms. So I'm so sorry to disrupt this episode. This is specifically for the YouTube crowd, an opportunity. We'd like to extend an invitation yet again to Rumble, a free speech platform. Come join us. We don't care your political views. We don't care your origins, all that freaking stats or whatever you want to freaking call it. Come join us. Have the conversations. View this episode and all further content in its entirety. There are bombshell episodes, like probably this one. You need to check this one and others out on Rumble. It's no secret. YouTube now has shown its colors. Freaking Nazi platform trying to control information, withhold information that could save lives. 100%. They don't care about you. They care about their funders and appeasing them. It's sad, but it just is the way it is. And I just sure hope through what I've even dealt with here, and many other patriots and many other people using this platform for truthful information and have been censored. It's just, when is enough? Okay? Let's stand strong now. Come join us. There's amazing content. We're going to get to the bottom of things. We want to find out what in fact is truthful and helpful for our mental states, our physical states, just our well-being in general. And we can't do it on this platform, unfortunately. Now, there's been whispers that maybe Elon will buy the YouTube, buy Facebook, and liberate it, similar to what has taken place on X, formerly known as Twitter. Is it perfect? Is everything perfect? No. But we, the people, can support the ones on our behalf, like just by our views, clicks, likes, and we must stand strong on this. I sure hope you see the level of importance here and that we can unite. Let's create this community. Join us. Come on the podcast. Comment. Let's get things rocking and rolling. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you over there. God bless you.